there. I'm seated as chair of the University of Amsterdam in California. I'm also a professor there where I teach up and coming folks how to run and how to operate their new cannabis businesses. In 2019, I founded a little publication called Vanguard Media Online, which champions women in the cannabis space. And then I decided as I was going through and fielding stories and talking with women so much about their ups and downs, to reactivate something that's always been very close to my heart, and that is working directly with people and helping them with their relationships, not only in their personal lives and with family, kids, and such, but their relationships in their businesses and their relationship with their partners in business. So, with that, learning learning that I could help people take back their power, I founded Take Back Coaching, which is a platform again based in thriving, just like what Cecil is talking about. But this is really thriving within yourself and gaining that power that maybe perhaps you set aside for some time and standing right into it. So with Take Back Coaching, I'm able to help people in general reclaim that space for themselves and with their partnerships.
Awesome. I love it. Go ahead with your bad stuff. I love it. And you know what I'm most excited about, Tiffany, is that you are, you've been in the cannabis space for a long time, but you said, listen, there's more. There's more. There's more ways I'm supposed to create change. Please. I know you're not done because I know you're doing a lot.
I am doing a lot. I really am. I've got a couple of brands in the works. Most people know about Lady Canna. That's one of my largest and oldest
Mhm.
personas and brand presence. But also, I have just been seated as CEO of Cannabella Wellness, where we are focused on making women comfortable at
Mhm.
their goddess stage,
I
and
know
that
that's
is
right.
stage that it reaches us after menopause.
Mm,
And, there's a lot of ups and downs in the body and in the psyche.
mhm.
And we're taking a holistic approach to wellness
Mm.
specifically for women. So, really excited about that. Our products will launch really soon. I'm saying we
Woohoo!
probably got about 6 months out from our first
Okay.
product launches.
Crazy.
So, I think this is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be a wonderful space for women to find comfort
Awesome.
and connect with plants and nature as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
super excited about that. I've also got
Yeah.
another brand in my back pocket that I'm founding. It's another wellness brand, but this one is for the fitness space, folks.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is going to be a set of products that partner with your fitness goals to give you energy, to give you relaxation, to give you restoration. So super excited about those. Everybody just needs to keep looking out. We're firing them off.
Yeah, and that's what I love. If I begin with Vanguard, I think Vanguard was one of the things that really grabbed my attention when we originally connected, because it was just so amazing to see you interviewing and just really moving things forward in a powerful way. So, I commend you again for your innovation, commend you for just all that you're doing, and what I'm gonna do, because of the fact that y'all listen, this is live, right? We're doing this live. I forgot to hit the record button, so I caught Tiffany in the middle of her doing an intro, right? But I got to make sure folks know, at least those on YouTube, are like, what? Who's this person talking? Listen, y'all, I just want to make sure I take a moment again, just to introduce Tiffany and say how much I appreciate her, how much I value her, and when I think about, she's mentioned all these different things that she's doing and all these ways she's making impact. And for me, as I mentioned, we don't realize who we'll cross paths with. And I remember when Tiffany and I we were educating folks about the power of how cannabis can help people live healthier, using the Clubhouse platform to do so. And we were doing a club together, and she was helping me with that, and just connecting with people across the country and the globe. I am so grateful for the connections that I've been able to make, and just it's amazing how you can take those connections, and I think all of us have the opportunity to, we can choose to stay connected, or we can do the thing where you meet people and you move on, right? And so I'm just honored and privileged to have this amazing woman with us today. She's going to really drop some knowledge. There's a lot of great information she's going to share today as we go through and have another conversation about thriving versus surviving for women. And this is we continue this powerful series on this. Again, our ladies only mastermind group that we've launched. And so I can't wait to get into the conversation and be able to get these answers to these amazing questions that I have for you. That I'm kind of fired up about it because I know it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get right in. I don't want to belabor the point. So let's start here. And I appreciate you sharing who you are, sharing what you're doing. And we'll make sure we give you a chance to let folks know how they can connect with you, how they can support your brands, how they can stay connected with you towards the end. But let's start with this. What does womanhood mean to you at this stage of your life? And I love what you said earlier about that goddess face. That was kind of like I kind of was like, oh, go ahead. I feel that because at having been in the CBD space and working in there, I had a lot of clients that we were helping with as far as menopause and helping women to be able to navigate. So that was kind of neat hearing that. But I'd love to have you share from your perspective, what does womanhood mean to you at this stage in your life?
In this stage in my life, as in I don't ever mind sharing, I am over 50 years old. At this stage in my life, womanhood means wisdom,
Mm,
the culmination of my knowledge that I
mm,
have amassed up into this point. And it's a look into the future of what else I can learn and what else I can do.
mm, mm. That word wisdom really, first of all, the fact that you encapsulated it and didn't just say just what I've done. You said what I've learned from the past and what I know I can do in the future based upon kind of pairing those two things together. That's a powerful way to look at wisdom. So I love that answer because I think one of the things that I feel as we age, and it was funny on our book club today. Just so folks know, I do a free book club every day, still on Clubhouse, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And we just talked today, and one of the women in the group talked about how we age. And she spoke about chronological, she talked about three different ways that we age. But I think a lot of times, I think people get stuck on the chronological part. And when you said wisdom, it speaks to the fact that there's this mindset piece to it as well, where we recognize and value what that means, all that we've benefited from through that process. So I love that share. That was awesome. So was there a moment when you realized that you had shifted from surviving to thriving, and you intentionally chose to thrive?
There's probably been a couple of times in my life where I've experienced significant shifts,
Mm,
but I will say that I believe, who we are in our 20s and 30s changes drastically when you reach 40s. You start to question things. You start to wonder, have I done enough? What else can I do?
mm,
And in that point was a huge shift in
mm.
understanding that when I go to work every day, I'm surviving. When I go grocery
Okay,
shopping,
indeed.
I'm surviving.
Yep, yep.
And I can take a look at all that work that I've done,
Hmm.
both for
Hmm.
myself and for others, and kind of let them weigh up and
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
well, what was the survival rate?
Mm.
Right? Because, see, there's different levels of survival that can
Mm.
pour you into thriving.
Yeah.
So I realized some time ago that my survival rate was way too low.
Mm.
And people hear me talk about this often where I say I stand within my power. At that point in my life, I realized I'd given most of it away.
Mm.
So
Ooh.
I had to reclaim it for myself
Mm.
in order to bring my survival rate up so that I could pour into my thriving cup and let
Wow.
it start to rise until it overflows.
Wow.
So think of it as in a sequential kind of stages
Sure. Right.
of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no. That's putting it in that perspective kind of changes the way we look at it, right? Because how intentional we are about our well-being shifts what it looks like for us to thrive. And I think
Yes.
oftentimes it's really easy for us to prioritize everything else, right? We got to win, we got to achieve, we got to get all this stuff done. We got to work, right? Got to pay the bills, right? All the stress, all this stuff. And we don't realize that that is taken away from our quality of life. So powerful share. Thank you so much for that. So, what's the lesson you've learned in your journey that you wish every woman knew earlier?
that no is a complete sentence.
Yes. Oh, that one. Oh, boundaries. Yes, indeed. Come on, go ahead. Drop some
Yeah.
knowledge on that one. I love it.
That is, it remains, it's an old adage, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And we say it, we hear it, we quip about it, but who's really using it? Because when we get up to the plate, to the point where we should use it, women are still being pushed and bullied into the corner of saying yes or soft yeses or affirmatives or soft affirmatives,
Yeah.
all these things that lead us away from saying, hey, you know what? I said no, it was
Mhm.
complete, and I didn't stutter, and now you're pushing me.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think that the most valuable lesson in the fields that I've chosen to work in have been primarily male. I started my full career as an engineer in the tech space.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was at that time, I was one of very few women on
Mm.
large teams.
Wow.
And it was difficult. It was
Mm.
difficult work, but it was difficult to be taken seriously. It was
Mhm.
difficult to get the big accounts. It was
Mhm.
difficult to navigate. And I was much younger and didn't understand the power of my no. So I
Mhm.
often said yes when I
Mm.
should have said no. And so
Mm.
I always think back, and I wish that Tiffany now could whisper in the ear of Tiffany then and say, "It's
Yeah.
okay for you
Yeah.
to tell him
Yeah.
no."
Yep. 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 You know, and it's interesting. You know, we talk about boundaries a lot. And it's something that oftentimes is a major struggle. We'll get into this a little further as we continue to talk about this. It's going to be coming up in the next couple questions. But it's this feeling that we have to be everything for everybody, and we have to just uh, l- sacrifice ourselves, sacrifice our well-being, sacrifice us. It's something that I deal with so much when I coach women. Where it's just there's it's a sacrificial kind of mindset in regards to everybody else's priorities are more important than mine. And so those boundaries where that no is a full sentence is a powerful piece of the conversation. So then let's talk about struggles and strengths. Let's kind of deal with that for a little bit and kind of pivot a little bit. What are some unspoken or overlooked struggles that women face today? And we can say, especially in your field, your community, you can share wherever you want to share that's relevant to you. But what are some struggles that you feel that are unspoken that women are dealing with that are struggling with right now?
I think, and this is a touchy one, and it may
Hmm.
or may not be controversial, but it is true. So one of the largest and most quiet struggles is that women don't truly always empower other women.
Yeah, right
And
there.
yeah, it is a major problem. And I both understand it and do not understand it. I do not understand it because we all talk a big show. We talk about it all the time. But
Yes.
when it comes time to actually get to the empowerment piece, we drop the ball. And some of that is from the outside. There is so much pressure for us to compete
Yes.
against each other in just about every avenue,
Yes.
whether it be socially or as mothers or
Yep.
as colleagues. There's just a lot of pressure to compete, and I say that comes from the scarcity mindset. There are
Yes.
not enough seats open at the
Yes.
table,
Yes.
and so it becomes a fight to the finish line rather than, hey sister, how can I help you
Yeah.
through the finish line with me? We can all finish first,
Yeah.
right? So I think that that is one that we don't talk about enough, is that we say a lot of empowerment here, empowerment there, but what are we really truly doing to foster true camaraderie and empowerment amongst ourselves? If we're not willing to speak about that and we
Yeah.
keep hiding it under the carpet, it just becomes our dirty little secret. So I
Yeah.
try to expose that wherever we are, just because I think when we expose it, we can actually do something about it.
Yeah, yeah, and you're not the first person that's mentioned that in these interviews, which is interesting. And I think women oftentimes feel this pressure because of, I believe that society has created that scarcity feeling, right? It's created this pressure where you feel as though, no, there's not enough for you. So obviously you got to try to keep it to yourself instead of realizing, listen, there's always enough. There's always enough. And so I appreciate you sharing that because I think it is an unspoken thing. I think, like you said, a lot of conversations about empowerment, a lot of things about collaborating or cooperative, economics. These are a lot of conversations and talk about it, not a lot of doing,
Right.
right? It's so I appreciate that share because I think it's a struggle that is a real one, and and it's something that I find I have several conversations with clients where they're like, listen, there's only a few of us in the room, you know, especially with executive coaching clients. And I always feel like I have to kind of like, I'm at, it's like this at odds with my counterparts that I feel like we should be finding a way to collaborate and win together. Right. So, I appreciate that share. How do you personally manage the pressure to do it all and be everything for everyone?
Yeah, frankly, I don't. I don't believe in that concept that you can be everything for everyone. You must diversify your life. Anyone looking to you to be their absolute everything all the time is asking for too much.
Mm.
And that's where you have to institute that no policy.
Yep.
No, it's no, and it's a redirect. As women, we are asked to do it all. The more we want, the more we have to do in order to get it, because society has put us in a place of, well, you need to mother your children. You identify there. You need to make sure this house is a home. You know, what's that other old adage that is rather sexist and a little, it's outdated, but people still use it. A man can give a woman a house, but a woman can give that man a home.
Right.
And it is a huge struggle to break free of that construct as we are put in specific roles.
Yeah.
And then when we do go into the workplace, there's a lot of set circumstances. Are you going to get pregnant while you're at the job? Are you
Right.
going to need to take leave? Will you have something with your menses that's going to keep you maybe out for a week? A lot of things that we don't talk about often that cause us to do the most when we are at our least.
Mm.
And that is a mindset that has to change so that we can stop doing everything and
Right.
being everything for everyone in our life, because it's the only place we feel we find success
Mm.
is overachieving, not taking
Mm.
any rest, not taking
Mm.
time for you.
Yeah.
You take too
Yeah.
much time for you, well, then you might as well stay at home, having to
Right.
prove that we're
Right.
worthy
Yes.
of going out and being a hyperachiever without sacrificing ourselves
Yes.
completely.
Yes. Yes. And it's interesting, right? It's one of those things where um the balance that is real, like a real balance in regards to what I want to call healthy, appropriate living, right? Um it's interesting when I see the double standard as far as the expectation for women. And it's one of those things that's really disconcerting and it's really frustrating to see and hear and have my clients express and kind of just vent and talk about these things where, you know, as a male, you know, there are things that would never be a part of the conversation or would I would never expect anyone to ever ask of me. Now, it's true once you get on high levels, there is this incredible, insane work kind of mindset where folks they expect you to be workaholic. And so, since there is already a double standard for women, then it's like, well, yeah, you know, are you sure you want to get pregnant? Like, what? Who asks a question like that? Like, you know, and who
Right.
are you?
We starting a family.
Yeah, yeah, you know, it's like what in the world? You know, these conversations that are happening where it's just it's crazy. So, speaking of which, let me just ask this question for you. What do you do
Mhm.
just for you to that fills your cup? I'm curious to hear. That
What
smile said it
fills
all.
my cup? Oh yeah, and because I really love this. What fills my cup is doing what I want when I want to do it. And
Mm,
that comes in the form of, do I want to write today? Do I want
mm,
to read today? Do I
mm.
want to just lay in bed and speak to no one and have a great time staring at the ceiling? I do what I want when I want
Yeah,
to fulfill my.
yeah, yeah. And, you know, it's interesting because that concept of filling our cups we don't like you mentioned it earlier. You spoke about it earlier, where you know it's important to do the things to help fill your cup, so you have the overflow, which allows you to be able to give back to others. You always hear from you know the concept of you know you give from the saucer, right? Because you make sure your cup is full, and the overflow is what you're able to give. And so I really appreciate that that mindset of you do whatever you need to do for you, and that's important. Like it's an important mindset of wellness And since you're in the health and wellness space, I would expect nothing less. So I appreciate that. So let's kind of go towards dreams and desires for a moment now. And so, if nothing was holding you back, what's one thing you'd pursue more boldly right now?
Um, if nothing was holding me back, and this is going to sound so silly, but this goes into my sci-fi mind, I would be figuring out how to go to space. I'll be on the next space flight.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Love that.
Yeah.
Oh
You?
man, that how cool is that? I remember watching that group of women go to space and I was like, I would love to do that so much. That would be so cool. I just need to go ahead and work on
It
this
needs to be a little less expensive, though. Let's just
I
put that out there. And that
yeah.
it was highly privileged. I couldn't let this cast go any further without saying that was a highly privileged trip to
Yes,
space. Let's
absolutely.
normalize you and me being able to go. You know,
Absolutely. You know,
that's what we want.
but you know, I'll
Earth
say this,
belongs to all
Tiffany.
of us.
I'll say this, Tiffany, in all candor and honesty, I'm not worried about that for us. I'm pretty sure we'll be there soon enough, right? So
Indeed.
I'm sure we'll be the ones in that number that are like, well, I can afford this. So even though I'd like other people to have the opportunity too, but
I do. I do.
you know, I love that. So what does thriving actually look like for you? And I'm going to ask you in four different areas:
Sure.
emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationally. What are those four areas? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, I think I can amalgamize all of those.
Okay.
It all comes from the same source. It
Okay.
has to be single sourced.
Mm,
Um, for what it looks like for me is internal peace,
mm,
reaching homeostasis with all of my environments in
mm.
order to fill my cup.
Nice.
Because I am a person who does give a lot to projects, to people,
Mm.
family. I have to make sure that I'm at peace inside, in my
Yes.
thoughts, in my
Yes.
heart,
Yes.
my spirituality, in
Yeah.
order to continue to be able to do that. That is what makes me thrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my source.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and that concept of the word peace changes everything, right? Because peace will look different in different seasons. Peace will feel different in different environments. Peace will mean different things based upon just the circumstances and what it is that it means for us to be at our best self in our in any given moment in time. And so I love that you said this brings it all together. Peace encapsulates all of it, allows me to be able to fully um, be able to thrive once I've been able to find and recognize the value of the importance of prioritizing my peace. And so I appreciate that. It was funny. One of the other women also spoke about protecting her peace, right? It was one of the things that she shared in regards to that. So love that. So let's kind of now talk about sistership and support because you talked about how it would be great for us to have more of these kind of environments and if women could do more things to support. So let's start this. How important is it for women to have safe spaces to grow, be vulnerable, and get real support?
I think it's important. That is it's something that I've definitely done for women with my Lady Canna series. It started as a series of talks where we would just have these small, intimate groups. We would talk about struggles. We would pour in cannabis on top of that because oftentimes these women were very interested in either rediscovering cannabis in their life or trying to start a business in the new burgeoning
Right,
industry
right.
that was there
Yep.
for us, right?
Yep.
And reaching a lot of barriers to and so
Yeah.
that was a huge pain point.
Major
Having a
concern.
place where folks can talk and share and vent is essential to moving past that, and I'll
Yeah.
bring that peace concept back into that because I view, and this is, I mean, it's true that peace is the absence of chaos. And
Mm,
so when you can find that, you can clear out that chaos in your mind and really think and create.
mm,
And that's where you start to find your success points. And again,
Mm,
all these things look different for everyone, but you need to find it for yourself. But you
right.
can't do that until you clear out the chaos and replace it with peace. Now
Yes.
you're able to actually come to a correct agreement with yourself on how to create your concepts.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
no,
think
no.
that that's really important.
Yeah, no, no, and I think that's huge because I think that again, when we understand how important it is for us to be in alignment with our peace, then we're able to find communities that help us get there, help us
100%.
to be able to find folks that we can that are about building us up, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're living in a society that unfortunately a lot of things, environments, places are breaking us down. And so if we can intentionally find these places, and that's the reason why we created the Master Women's Ladies Only Mastermind in the first place. It's about, let's find a safe place. Let's find somewhere where you can come together and have powerful conversations, powerful dialogue. And what you've done before in regards to what in the space and the communities you created in cannabis was, I was just so just impressed, right? Early on, because we, as you mentioned, it's been years that we've known each other now because we connected in the pandemic. And so, seeing what you were doing, and the beauty was that when we connected, you'd been in the industry, you were a veteran already. You've been in the industry for years, right? And so you were already being that trailblazer that was helping women to be able to find a safe space where they can have dialogue, they can have conversations, they could get support, they could get into the industry. As the industry was growing at the very beginning, when it was like this, like you said, it's the very beginning of this opportunity that folks could take advantage of, and you were there as a guide to help bring women along and say, hey, let me help you get into this space because we want you to be a part of it and to participate and benefit from it as well. So that's exciting. I love that. So speaking of which, let's look back at folks that have been able to support and help you. Can you think of a time when another woman's support made it made a huge difference in your life to help you move forward?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it comes from one of those trusted spaces. I was doing it's kind of a podcast, kind of a mini series called Bridges, and it was primarily focused on racial equality, social equity, and talking about the hard conversations, and answering those hard questions that we have as we attempt to diversify our environments. And it
Mhm.
was a big, big picture, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I really fostered a strong relationship with two of my co-producers.
Mm.
And we finished the series, launched the series, and then kept our weekly meetings.
Oh, cool.
And the weekly meetings that we would have really started, as we shared more, we talk about our ups and downs, we talk personally, we would talk professionally. And that space and those conversations really helped each of us
Hmm.
build strength throughout the week. And so we
Wow.
kept it up for, almost 2 years after we kept
Wow.
that going. We were like, once a month, we need to see each other. We need to have these
Wow.
conversations
Wow.
because it created a platform of strength for us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that really showed me the value of us uplifting each other. And uplifting looks a lot of difference. Just like we all look different,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
uplifting portion of those conversations was the ability to vent about it,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
what was your pain point,
Yeah.
not necessarily to ask for solutions. It was just to be able to get it out
Yep.
in a
Yep.
space where it would just go out and then poof into the ether. And then
Yeah.
you were lifted from that so you could go on with the rest of your week, 2 weeks, three
Yeah.
weeks, a
Yeah.
month.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I found strong value in that. And I would say that that's valuable for any of us.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting. You had a few different conversations, one of which was, I think the last interview we had, the the young lady spoke about prioritizing therapy and how valuable that was to her, having that space to be able to vent and share. And I think that, when you have someone that you can use as a sounding board, if you have, like you said, you all created this space where you all were able to just vent and have that sounding board where you can have that support and have uh again community, right? Because it's beautiful that it wasn't just one-on-one, it was three of you, it sounds like you said, that were able to feed off each other and provide energy, support, encouragement, and a listening ear, it's powerful how far that will take you. Many times it's not that we need someone to solve our problems for us or give us the answers. It's just we need someone just to listen, right? And so I love that you shared that. That was powerful. Love that so much. All right, cool. So as we wrap up, a couple things that I want to just kind of close out our last two questions. So, why do you think now is the right time for women to invest in themselves, personally, professionally, and spiritually?
I think it's about time. It's about
I
time
love
that
that.
we
I love
that
that.
we invest in ourselves. If the recent changes in the world have shown us anything,
Yeah.
is that the space that we thought we occupied was
Mm,
quite precarious.
mm,
And it really is up to us. We can't keep waiting for it to be handed to us. We must take what we need and utilize it
yeah.
to strengthen our communities and ourselves, to keep us safe,
Mm,
you know, and to thrive. To your point of of how you coach women is really to truly thrive, is
yes.
that we have to figure out a way to reclaim space that we know belongs to us, and in unison. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what your race is. It's
Yeah.
not a black woman's march. It's not a
Yeah.
white woman's march. It's not an
Right.
Asian woman's march. It is a woman's march.
Yeah.
It is, the time is now, and it's about time that we actually do something to strengthen our environments, our homes, our workplaces, and our businesses.
Yeah. And it's interesting, as you say, it's about time. And I think the reason why I think that's so interesting is because one would assume that this is, just the stereotypical expectation. Well, women are always supporting each other. Women are always taking the time to take care of and nurture and care for themselves. No. It's interesting how infrequently that's the case. Where I can say that as a coach, I was actually quite surprised that that was the case. So when you say it's about time, absolutely. It's time for women to choose to make that investment in themselves and to choose to get support through coaching like yourself, where you have the ability to help folks get the breakthrough, to choose to benefit from our mastermind community or coaching, to get therapy, to make the investments for you to be able to take care of yourself because you deserve it, right? It's not a question of this whole, well, I will eventually, or at some point in time I will. No, there's no better time than the present for you to be able to take care of yourself and go and make sure that you're okay. Because well, life is not promised or guaranteed. There is an exit that we will take at some point, whether we like it or not, and we don't get to choose that date and time. And so, being intentional about living our best lives in this moment matters. So, I love the fact you shared that. That there's, you're like, it's about time. I love that statement. I'm gonna have to hold on to that one. Final question: if another woman is watching this and feels stuck, all right, what is one thing you'd want her to know or do today?
I think the one thing that is important that she does is to truly define for herself what is making her stuck.
Mm,
Because oftentimes you think you're stuck, but
mm,
you're not. You're just
mm,
misguided,
mm,
listening to something in
mm,
yourself.
mm,
That barrier is not immovable. That
mm.
barrier, you can shove it aside. And I want to know why she can't.
Right.
Importantly, she needs to know
Yeah.
why she can't.
Mm. It's interesting. Um, that barrier that you mentioned, where that woman feels like she's stuck. You know, it's interesting because for as as a coach, and this is part of my vision that I have for what I view how I support and help people. The vision is to recognize that whatever it might be that you feel that's holding you back, or whatever it is that you feel that you're going through, that you feel is either breaking you or it's crushing you or it's overwhelming or it's too much. It's all a part of your origin story, right? It's all a part of you becoming you, right? Becoming who you're meant to be. And I always use the analogy of a diamond and the fact that we see this carbon that the best way to describe carbon would be charcoal, right? It's basically what you're looking at. and the amount of pressure and heat that is required to completely change the molecular structure of that carbon so that it becomes a diamond. And one would think, well, that's it. Well, all the heat and the pressure, now we're done. But for that diamond to truly become what it has to be, it then has to go through all this process of eventually going through like more heat and more pressure to eventually rise close enough to the surface where it can then be mined and then chipped out of the stones, and then from there it now needs to be go through this process of being cut using other diamonds, a diamond tip thing to trim and cut the diamond, and then after that it has to be polished with more again. So it's like all that has to happen for this diamond to get to the point where we see this beautiful, gorgeous, shining stone. The amount of pain and discomfort required is huge. And so when you say, well, what is it? Why are you stuck? It really speaks to the importance of that woman saying to herself, like you're saying, well, is this for your good? And if this is for your good, if this is about you becoming who you're meant to become, don't fight it. Push through it. Get the support, the help you need, but
Right.
recognize that this is a part of you becoming your best self. And if you
Right.
can view that and recognize the value of this moment that you're in, that you feel stuck, I love what you said. I think it's a powerful share. So, oh my gosh, listen, Tiffany, this has been an incredible conversation. But listen, the folks need to know how to be able to stay in touch with you, how they can benefit from your coaching, how they can take advantage once Vanguard comes back as a magazine, and also be able to take advantage of your products and stay in touch. Go ahead, come on, just drop some knowledge on folks. Go ahead. I want to make sure folks know how to be able to get in contact and stay connected with you. Please share. Please, the mic is yours.
Of course. Thank you, Cecil. So first of all, I know that some of my intro did cut off. So I will
Yes,
say, if you don't
please.
know by now, I am Tiffany Watkins, and I am the founder of Vanguard Media Online, a cannabis platform and space for women. We champion women there. I am also a coach. And mostly, I primarily focus on folks' relationships with themselves, with others, with their business partnerships. I can be reached there at takebackcoaching.com. Or you can reach out to me directly at Tiffany at takebackcoaching.com.
Yeah.
And if you need to know anything about the projects that I'm working on right now, you can find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very valuable space for all industries, and I urge every woman to be on LinkedIn. And you can find me now there. My hair is pink, so you won't be able to miss Tiffany Watkins with the pink hair. And there you can find out more about my efforts to aid women with cannabis products geared towards those of us that are in our menopausal states, and some wellness products that I have on for our fitness journeys. That is Rising Wellness and Cannabella Wellness. I do hope that you're able to check all of those out. And yeah, come see me at Take Back Coaching, where I'll help you take back your life, take back your relationships, and most importantly, I'll help you reclaim your power.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Again, I'm beyond grateful for you taking and making the time to be here and pour into all the women that are hearing this. Um, And y'all, listen, I'm going to make sure I get Tiffany's information. It'll be in the description below on YouTube, Facebook, folks. Hopefully you caught that. Listen to the replay. You can play it again to make sure you catch all that, so you're able to benefit from it. And so as we wrap up, just a quick reminder, listen, again, because just like as Tiffany said, the beginning was cut off a little bit. So for those of you that are watching this now later on and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get involved with this amazing women's group that we've launched, our ladies only mastermind community? Listen, you can comment below mastermind, regardless of where you're watching this. You can comment that below. We'll get to you. Link in my bio, regardless of what platform you're on. You can always find the access for you to be able to join our communities and be able to benefit from that, whether it's the entrepreneurs group or in particular, as we're talking about women right now, our ladies only mastermind community. We want you to thrive. But this is about. And it's not that it's because I'm a guy and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not about that. It's about the fact that I have so many women in my life. I've been, surrounded by women my whole life, right? I got two sisters, I got my mom. Listen, I've been surrounded all my life, and it's all about recognizing what it would look like to help as many women as possible survive as well, and move from surviving rather to thriving. And so we want to help you live your best life, help you create your change. And I have other women coaches and amazing women like Tiffany that are a part of helping you create your change. So we want to help you create your change so you can live your best life. You deserve that. So with that being said, as I say every day, if you can dream what God, you can achieve it. So let's go out, let's make our dreams our reality. Because you know what? You deserve it. Be blessed, y'all. Tiffany, thank you so much. So grateful for you. Appreciate your time. You are amazing. Come on, y'all. Show her some love because she's amazing. Thanks so much, Tiffany. Have a blessed one. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye now.